Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Week 5 edition of Coach's Night Out. We are tape delay at Town Square Social tonight, 145 Public Square in Lebanon. Our sponsors, as always, Advantage Roofing Contractors, LLC, Donnie Self and Rob Painter, Daryl Tidwell, loan originator with Southern Bank of Tennessee, the Salas Realty Group, located right here on the Public Square, THW Insurance Services, LLC, Cumberland University Athletics, and DT McCall & Sons, Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Franklin, and Cookeville. Coach's Night Out airs on 3 Facebook Live platforms, including the Wilson Post, Main Street Preps, and Blue Devil Broadcasting. You can also find this show on Twitter, X, if you will, on my handle, at TB Sports 85, and on the Main Street Media TV app. Week 5, Green Hill at Lebanon. We'll spend a lot of time talking about that one tonight. Watertown at Cascade, Republic at Friendship in a 7:30 football game. Cookeville at Mount Juliet Christian at Nashville Christian, that's NCS homecoming. Shelbyville Central at Wilson Central. Chuck Gentry, head coach of the Blue Devils, with us first on the lead-in segment to our show tonight. Chuck, your team's coming off a good win at Cookeville, a tough place to go play, 41-17. How'd you think your kids played?
Well, I was very pleased with the way that we started the game. Come out focused, got off the field on defense pretty quick, ended up going down and scoring, and we wanted to start fast. We wanted to get out in front, play ahead, and we were able to do that and kind of kept that momentum up most of the night. Offensively, when we needed a score, we got one and kind of felt like, we only stopped ourselves. And so, it's a good night. When you look at the yards and stats and all that stuff, we probably could have played a little better at times, but for the most part, very happy to go on the road, good opponent, get a win, feel pretty comfortable most of the night, and execute the way that we did, and make some plays that we haven't been making.
What a lethal 1-2 punch with Sean Heath at tailback and Key Crowell in the slot to be able to give Cookeville kind of a double dose of guys who can really run with it.
Yeah, Sean's our tailback, and most of the offense goes around through him. But, Key is the beneficiary of some of the RPO stuff that comes off of him, and then, hand it to Sean and then slice it back to Key, and, people are reading and flowing and getting those guys up front are working good, and it just made the night for a good recipe of 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, and some on the ground, some in the air, and but it's all about 11 of us working together for sure.
How has the offensive line played? You're 4 games in now. This is a group. There were some question marks about it because you lose 3 guys from last year that are on the college level playing, and you've had to bounce some people around. Evaluate those guys, if you will.
Well, they can always be better, but they've done a good job. What I'm most proud of is that their effort, attitude, and fight, not the biggest guys up front. We lost some large humans last year, and we're used to having large humans, and so now if you compare them to last year, they're not, but they're a scrappy bunch, a smart bunch, play with good technique, and Coach Angel and Coach Easterly coach them hard, and you get them going in the right direction, and we just try to help those guys out. Sometimes there's a heavy box, and let's get outside or throw it outside. Sometimes there's a lighter box, so let's hand that thing off and run. So it's just one of those things that's a work in progress, and all 5 of them have to be in unison, but they've been doing a good job.
Jack Kleinert and 21, I've gone blank, Andrew Hodge have helped that bunch because you can move those guys at the line of scrimmage and give you some extra blocking at the point of attack.
Yeah, you can. You can, tight end sniffer in there, but that usually brings more in there. But Andrew has really played well, and he's a tailback by trade, and you know, I've asked him to go down there and play sniffer some with Brent Duke being out, and he should be back, you know, Friday night. But Drew has done a really good job. He has really good hands out of the backfield, and so you know, he's a weapon there, and he's done a really good job blocking. And then you know, Jack plays sparingly in there, but has done a good job when he's been called upon to get in there and block. And so it's just a good mix. And like I say, those guys are doing a good job of opening up some holes for those guys to run.
The touchdown pass from Kason Kincaid to Chasten Dixon, a little double move, stop and go kind of, if you will. You went downfield on them. You got away from the east-west. You went downfield and attacked them for a good touchdown.
Well, we hit 4 or 5 stop routes there during the game, and the plan was, you know, eventually they're going to start getting nosy and get in there and trying to break on the ball and make a play, and you know, just use their aggression against them. And out of the break, third quarter to fourth quarter, I asked our offensive coaches, do we want to get the first down, try to get the first down, or go for the jugular? And they all said get the first down. So I got the first down, and then went for it. And again, I had been watching number 16 all night, and he kept getting answer, and so did I. But you know, it's one of those things. It's kind of a feel thing, and you know, Kason did a good job. Chasen run a good route. He almost waited just a little too long to let that safety get there, but just so happens the play before the safety had got hurt, and they took him out and put a young guy in. And as I was calling the play, I looked back there, and there's a fresh body back there, and I thought, well, now he's not going to be up in there as much as the other one was. But, you know, it worked out, and, you know, we need to stretch the field a little bit, and we haven't necessarily tried to do that as much. And, you know, in the preseason, we hit several of those, and we need to get back to that at times to make everybody defend everything, because we have been throwing it this way a lot. And, you know, sometimes that's open, sometimes it's not. Sometimes the deep ones are open, sometimes it's not. You know, on a lot of the plays, you know, we have deep shots, and the question is it covered, is it not, does he take it? And so, you know, I called one the other night that he didn't take, that the other one was wide open too. So, you know, it's just one of those things, but just trying to make them defend everything.
Defensively, you had to play against basically a single wing quarterback, a big, strong, tough kid that was back there at quarterback, and they had him as a big part of their run game.
No, he's a very large kid, 6'1", 215, and
we had said if he's playing for us, he's a tight end.
Well, it depends. I wish I could get one that big and run. But you know, it's he could definitely play tight end, there's no doubt. But he is a good football player. I told him after the game, son, keep doing what you're doing. You got a good future ahead of you. And played hard, played hurt, played, you know, gutsy performance. But you know, we had to gang tackle him, and felt like that we did a really, really good job of our kids running to the football, and not one-on-one tackles, but let's hem him up or you know, gang tackle.
Change in directions. Green Hill comes to Lebanon Friday night. 7:07 is going to be kick. It's my TV 30. A lot of distractions with that Friday night Rivals football game, but it boils down to you're going to have to defend a pretty good offensive football team in Green Hill.
Yeah, they're scoring a lot of points a lot of different ways. You know, the quick passes, the deep passes, the run, by the tailback, the quarterback run, the jet sweeps. You know, just all of it. You know, a very good football team, and you know, we'll have our work cut out for us to try to defend them, and you know, they haven't given up any points either. So it's a pretty good night when you're scoring a lot of points and not giving up any, and you know, they've had a couple of those games. So you know, we'll see. You know, I've talked to our kids about Friday Night Lights and what it is and everything. And I said, but it still boils down to it's football. It's our job to prepare and play the game. Yeah, you can go home and see yourself on TV. You can get it taped. You can have it for many years to come. So when you're my age and you look back on it, you bring it out of the archives. You want to put your best foot forward and say, all right, well, here we were, first time we ever played Green Hill, started the rivalry in football, and here we are. And so, again, it's exciting. It's this kind of football game you want to play in. I get to play on TV. I expect a large crowd. We're tailgating before the game and DJing and bringing chairs, and people bringing food. And so, what you want is a high school football player, and then, walk down that checkerboard and come through the lights, and it's time to play with the lights on and the cameras on. I mean, I probably could play one play, but I don't know about a whole game. But it'll be a fun atmosphere.
Cannon Burroughs, their quarterback, has had a really solid year, and just a sophomore. To be able to turn the keys over to that guy says a lot about the kind of football player he is.
Oh, good football player, and is handling their offense well, making good decisions, throwing the ball where he needs to throw it, and not panicking, and very dangerous with his feet also. So, just like I said, just a sophomore. So that means three more times. So, but he is a very, very impressive young man.
Defensively, it looks like an odd front defense, something you're certainly familiar with.
Yeah, it's an odd front, but 50, basically, and quarter coverage and rolling and doing some things based on formation and stuff. But, very well coached bunch. They get after it, run to the football, tackle. And so it's one of those, it's going to be one of those nights. And, where hopefully we can say two good football teams, two well-coached football teams are going at it.
Chuck, let me run through some of our team meals this week. Monday, the youth ministry at Fairview Church fed the freshman JV bunch. Thursday, tomorrow, as we tape this, the young married class at Emmanuel Baptist Church. And then on Friday, Zaxby's provides the meals. And Zaxby's been on board with Blue Devil football since you've been here.
She was the first one with the meals that said, "What? Come and see me. What can I do?" And Miss Bonnie Ryan and her bunch has been great. They sponsor our game day shirts, and I told her we like chicken in Lebanon High School, and it's been a good relationship. She's used to do her sideline mats. Now she does her goalpost stuff, and she's never told me no when I've called, and we really appreciate that, along with Emmanuel Baptist Church, letting us borrow Brother Darren and all he does, and they've fed us. They've been on board since I've been here, also, and it's just it's a blessing to have. Me and him were talking this morning. We have everything, I think, but one little meal covered for the year,
and you're only a month in.
Only a month in, and in August he was saying it's a little slow. So hopefully we'll get that covered. But it's great to have people that support you, and you don't have to worry about it. And the kids are getting to eat. You would have thought we served them gold last week when. Southeast Impressions fed us soccer, and we had rice and chicken and yum sauce. There was some happy kids.
What did the defense do to rate free donuts? Rick Smith and the bunch at Jay Claiborne's 2.0 provided dozens and dozens of donuts today.
We challenged our defense to play a little more aggressively and get to the football. And out of 55 snaps, there were over 75% of those snaps, 3 people or more around the football when the whistle blew. And there were only 12 snaps that were really negative snaps for us, but they were out of 55, only 12. And, we had a lot of people doing a lot of good things, whether it's making tackles behind the line for loss, defending passes, intercepting passes, or whatever. And so a couple years ago, we got on the roll and we started eating donuts. And so last Saturday we talked about how can we get them, and a lot of people are motivated by a lot of things, but when you challenge somebody, and I like food too, so I was telling them, go ahead. I didn't eat any donuts today, but go ahead, y'all get some donuts, and we'll have fun.
Chuck, thanks for the visit. Have a good football game against.
I gotta say happy birthday to my wife and my daughter. I told them I wouldn't sing and embarrass them, but 18 and another number.
Good. Hey, thanks for the visit. Happy birthday, Sabre. That young lady, Ella. Congratulations. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with a second segment of Coach's Night Out after these words. Time for the second segment of Coach's Night Out, live from Town Square Social. Let me run through our sponsors once again. Advantage Roofing Contractor, LLC, Donnie Self and Rob Painter. Darrell Tidwell, loan originator with Southern Bank of Tennessee. The Salas Realty Group, located on the public square. THW Insurance Services. Cumberland University Athletics. DT McCall and Sons, Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Franklin, and Cookeville make this show possible. I really appreciate the sponsorship of all those folks. Tim Mathis, head football coach at Cumberland, with me here on segment number 2. And Tim, an off week after that god-awful trip that you had to go to Florida, but you got a win out of that trip to Weber International. How has the week of practice been, and did you go a little light in that so-called open week you had?
We did during the open week. We just practiced 3 days and gave them a long, not really a long week, but Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off. And so then we came back and we actually practiced, had a real small hour practice on Monday, and then these last 2 days we've kind of got back in the normal groove, and we've had a fantastic practice this week. It's really been good. Got, obviously that off week practice too is a way to get some banged up guys, a little healthy too. So we didn't beat up on each other and go live and all that stuff. But it's been a great week of practice. We're ready to eager to get back and hopefully carry that momentum on.
Before we went on, you said it's probably been one of the better offensive works that you've had since fall camp.
It really has. I mean, we're really coming together, knock on wood and all, but we're picking up, going over their defense stuff. We're picking up blitzes and picking up how they're moving and all that. We're picking it up, right away and busting some big runs and doing some real good RPO throws and stuff off of it. And obviously, if we continue to do that, we feel good about ourselves because the way we have to approach every week is we got to worry about Cumberland. We can't worry about who we're playing, what it is. We got to take care of Cumberland, and I think we're doing a really good job of that this week of taking care of Cumberland.
If in a perfect world, how do you want to play offensively? If everything fell the right way, what tempo, run versus pass, that sort of thing, Tim?
We want to run. I mean, you've heard me say this, but we want to run the ball first. That's what we want to be known for. But we do want to, if they're going to creep a, sixth or seventh guy in the box, depending on what our box is, we want to be able to throw off that RPO off that. But we want to throw when we have to. I mean, not when we have to, when we want to, and really want to establish a run and dominate that. But we want to get into a thing where we can tempo you while running the ball to kind of wear out our defensive line so they can't sub or whatever. So we hadn't had a chance, and we kind of went the opposite approach in Weber. We kind of slowed it down to keep the ball away from them in that game. So, but there are going to be games where we try to tempo them, still running the ball and do what we want to do. But if we can hang our hat on, so we want to run the football.
And you've got at least a couple of guys in that what I call the tailback position who are capable of really giving you good numbers.
We do. That's the thing. We're three deep of guys that for us, we consider it doesn't matter who you're out there, and we really, Traylon is a workhorse. Nick's a workhorse, and then Tim Pinnell, who's started playing for us a little bit this year, has been with us a while from Oakland. That we don't feel bad when he's in the game. He's a really, really good running back. But so we got guys that we feel real comfortable no matter who it is. But we do want to ride those guys.
Are there different aspects to those three different guys about what they bring to the table?
I think so. I think Shepard is a combination of everything. He's got speed, and power. Nick's more power than he has speed, but he's not slow. But he's a power back. Tim's honestly more of a speed guy. He rarely in practice is the first person tackle him. He usually makes the first guy miss, and he has a little more breakaway speed or whatever. But you kind of put those two together. Traylon's got both of those things, which makes if you say a more complete back. I really don't think so because Nick's not slow, but he if you got to make a business decision as a safety if you come down to tackle him because he's going to run you over.
How has the offensive line play been? I know I asked you this after the Wagner game, but now you've had some more time to practice. Is that group gelling, coming together?
I definitely think they are. I think they're understanding what we want to do, and it's different. And some of them have been here a couple of years, but we do have some young guys. But we've changed. Coaches have left and all that, so every year they've had to learn kind of new term. Not a lot of it necessarily has changed, but you have coaches that coach a different way. They teach, one little. It's not necessarily you're doing a different thing, but you're teaching it a different way. So, but I think they're starting to come together and gel and understanding how we want the approach to be.
Defensively, how has practice gone for those guys, and what will you see from Kentucky Christian offensively, what kind of sets, formations, what do they want to do?
They're going to spread. They spread us out. They'll have they go to empty some, but they have a one back. But it's always they're not going to be a 1-2 type thing. They're going to spread it out. They try to get rid of the ball quickly. It's kind of almost an air raid type offense where they try to throw quick and get the ball out and do a lot of bubbles and screens and stuff. Try that. So, you got to defend the whole field when that happens. So the guys have to really work and make sure they're in the spots they need to be. So, they're doing well. Torian's going to have them ready and they're going to play fine. But I really the biggest thing with facing them this week, just kind of watching their film, is they're going to try to spread you out to try to get in one-on-one matches out. But it's not a lot of vertical deep game. A lot of it is get rid of the ball quick. And part of that's designed so the quarterback doesn't get hit a lot too, is get rid of the ball.
In a case like that, your defensive lineman can run and get involved in the play out on the perimeter.
Oh, they definitely can, and you rely on that. And, we have different great thing that Coach Smith does too is, we'll have our regular set, and then we'll have a nickel set where we bring you take a linebacker off maybe and put another DB in. Then we have a dime set where you basically just go to 3 down linemen and bring another defensive back in. So, we'll use all those defenses to defend that and get speed on the field when we need it. And one thing we did do in recruiting is some of the backers, some of the young guys we're bringing in is they have a lot of speed, which is nice to do because you can keep a linebacker in some of those things where sometimes you wouldn't necessarily have a linebacker in, it'd be another DB, but we can keep a linebacker in. So that's really what you got to do against those offenses is, you got to mix it up, and if they're going to keep you spread out is bring another DB in and so we can run and rally to the ball. But, those defensive linemen have a great opportunity to pressure the quarterback and make great things happen, and running to the ball like that, takeaways are a big deal.
Well, and I mentioned the defensive linemen because if they're throwing the hitches, the quick stuff, the tunnel screens, if they're running to the football, that takes away half the football field. Then you've got the boundary on the other side.
It's paramount that they got to run to football because if they don't, that is when the big plays happen. But if you can rally to the football, you're exactly right. You take away half the field.
6 o'clock kickoff at Noakes Lassiter. The weather has turned, and what a great night this will be for college football.
It is, and that's if I had my ruthers, we'd play every one of our home games will be at night and try to get, just because I think more people can get to the game, even families. You don't have to get up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning to get there, but it's starting to get some fallish type weather, which is what everybody says is football weather. We're not playing in that oppressive heat. We've already been down to Florida and did that. I think we played 3 miles from the equator the other weekend, but so it will be nice to not go out and just when you walk outside you're sweating after 10 feet.
How do you handle a 6 o'clock kick? I mean, you've got to feed them a couple of times before they play. Maybe even a snack worked in there.
Well, they usually eat their breakfast or whatever on campus as they normally would, and we always do our pregame 4 hours before kickoff. Supposedly, science says that gives food enough time to digest where they can have energy from it and all that. And we have snack stuff in the locker room for pregame and halftime and all that, so they shouldn't be playing hungry or whatever. But it makes it a little more challenging when you play at night because the biggest thing for us is we got to feed them after the game because your last big meal's at 2 o'clock, so you're not eating again until 9. So we usually have a meal for them after the game, sitting there waiting for them, because that to me that's the biggest thing is, obviously the calf closes, so you got to make sure and feed them and take care of them.
Well, and you've got to work with other people's schedules, and when the cafeteria closes down, that's where all your guys eat. So brown bag boxes of food or something like that, but you got to feed those cats.
That's right, and that's having one that did it and went through it, they can eat you out of house and home, and whatever you feed them probably isn't enough anyway, because it seems like they can eat every 2 hours.
What are a couple of things you want to try to do against Kentucky Christian? What's going to be Cumberland's key to being where you want to be, to maybe to get that good early start, to play well right out of the chute?
To me, established the run game. Honestly, things we did in the Weber game, I think we had 2 penalties in the Weber game, which that's a big deal. Don't have penalties that kill drives. I think we, other than 5 keys that we always have, other than the kicking game, we might not have won the kicking game but we won the other 4. We won the run game offensively and defensively. We won the turnover game. Phoenix don't beat Phoenix with penalties and stuff. So, we win all that, and we won the fourth quarter. If you can do those things, you're going to – but to me, offensively, we want to establish the run early and dominate that, because it helps you on defense too. Defensively is just – we want 11 guys tackling the football every time and create turnovers, because – you take the ball away from them, that's less chances for them. And if we control the run game, that's less chances for them. And if we can do that, if we can do that and control Cumberland doing that, we have a good chance.
Tim, as always, thanks for the visit. Best of luck. We'll see you on Saturday night.
Thank you. Go Phoenix.
Tim Mathis, head coach at Cumberland University, with us on the second segment of Coach's Night Out from Town Square Social. We'll take a break, and we'll be back with Josh Crouch, head coach at Green Hill, after these words. Welcome back to the third segment of Coach's Night Out live at Town Square Social, 145 Public Square, Lebanon. Kyle and Cody also own Cedar City Brewing at 112 Public Square, another great hangout that folks can go to here on Lebanon's Public Square. Our sponsors, D.T. McCall and Son, Lebanon, Carthage, Franklin, Lafayette, and Cookeville. Cumberland University Athletics, THW Insurance Services, LLC, the Salas Realty Group, Darrell Tidwell, loan originator with Southern Bank of Tennessee, and Advantage Roofing Contractors, LLC, Rob Painter and Donnie Self. Let me run through the schedule quickly on what's going on Friday night. Watertown at Cascade, Cookeville at Mount Juliet Christian at Nashville Christian, Shelbyville Central at Wilson Central, Republic at Friendship, and that's going to be a 7:30 kickoff, and Green Hill at Lebanon, the MyTV 30 game. Officially kickoff is set for 7:07 at Tribble Field, Watkins Stadium, and we'll get into more of the specifics about that here, but let me introduce Josh Crouch, head coach at Green Hill, been there since the day that place opened. Josh, thanks for being here. We appreciate it.
Thanks, TV. I appreciate you being here.
Last week, a Rock'em Sock'em football game with Wilson Central. You got out ahead. Central wouldn't go away, and you didn't expect anything besides that, did you?
No, I thought they had a very physical football team. I thought they were, they were a very stout, big lineup. Offensive line is coached really, really well. They got 3 or 4 running backs that are good players, and Ethan Kimes is one of the best high school football players around. So, we knew they were going to fight us. We got down a little early, had the red zone 3 times and came away with no points. Didn't get a chance to really put it away early, but was really proud of our kids coming out after halftime and getting a win.
You ran a play you call Trojan, I call Monday Night Special, to get your first points of the football game. The reverse double handoff, pass back to the quarterback, you delivered on that. And I said to you on social media, I said, it's one thing to practice and have that play in your playbook, but to know when to call it and have the guts to call it when you did on your first offensive snap.
Yeah, and Zach White takes care of all of our play calling. So he said it in the headset and gave it a go. And he's done a really good job for us. And Colton Dow was there on the Titans game of the week. He was the coin toss, and we actually scored his first touchdown against Franklin in the playoffs on that same play. So little tip of the hat to Colton being there.
And the way that you executed that, Mattingly came all the way across the field on there.
Yeah, he started on the right side, top of the numbers. We were on left hash. He sold it really, really good because if you take off too quick, you'll be 60 yards downfield and without out of range of the quarterback's throw. But he did a really good job of selling it, took his time, and then got bass. And Cannon dropped a great ball, and we scored early. We tried to go for 2 right after it, and didn't get. We went to throw the ball, and ball popped out on us and didn't get it. But we tried to start quick right there and try to go up to our 8 points early.
Talk about Cannon Burroughs a little bit, if you will. Sophomore quarterback has thrown the ball really well, has run it well at times. You've turned the keys over to a 10th grader.
Yeah, and it was in the summer. It was something that we were going back and forth on. 'Cause we had a quarterback battle. Our slot, Nick Owens, is a good quarterback as well. When Guerin went down, we kind of pivoted a little bit to them too and tried to get them both ready. And both of them can play quarterback. Nick comes in and does some wildcat packages for us too. But I've been so impressed with Cannon, not only his growth and his maturity as a 10th grader, but him to be able to come in on a Friday night. It was a hostile environment at Summit. It was another big environment against Wilson Central. And he's been cool, calm, collected the entire time. So I think mentally, just seeing his growth from 6 or 7 weeks of being, frustrated and drinking through a fire hose a little bit as the first couple of weeks to now, he feels like he knows it like the back of his hand, and he's really divvying the ball out to a lot of good receivers and not really focusing on one. And we're doing a good job. I feel like as a staff is doing a really good job of giving him friendly reads and being able to allow him to play confident.
You've got 2 guys working with him in practice who've played the position in Zach White and Ty Jobe. He's getting a lot of good instruction.
Yeah, and Zach is our offense coordinator, but he kind of pulls off and oversees the offense, and so he doesn't have a position group. And Coach Jobe is the one that is in the Indy with him, that kind of breaks everything down with him, makes it fun, makes it easy reads. But Zach does a really good job of during practice giving Cannon clues and easy answers to offenses, and try to make it really simple for him to go out and perform. And the more that we have seen that he can take in, the more we put on him.
You're playing some sophomores in that starting lineup.
Yeah, I think we got 6 that are rotating in. We got 3 on the offensive line, 2 one at running back, 1 at quarterback, 1 at receiver. And when we graduated the 10 guys last year, 4 of them are playing college football right now. That was on the offensive side of the ball. 3 of them are playing at Cumberland. And Caleb Carver went on to Indianapolis with Corral. And both of them are doing great jobs up there. And Wilson County's doing really well with putting these kids in college and getting some athletes. But we knew going into the year that it may be a little tougher on offense. But those sophomores, man, it's a special group. On Saturdays, they come up there and work out and throw. On the weekends, they always want to know how to get better. They've matured. And at this point, we're halfway through the year, so we can't use the sophomore tag no more. They're veterans now, and it should be a very, very good class for 3 years.
And the great thing about sophomores, they're going to be around a while.
Yeah.
These guys will be there for you, and you are you're heavy junior sophomore class? Is that right?
So we've got 38 seniors.
Okay.
Yeah, we got 38 seniors. 9 of them are on defense that are starting for us. Okay. So senior side is super heavy loaded with our defense. Offensively, we've got 2 that are on the offensive side of the ball that are starting for us. 1 at right guard, 1 at left tackle, and then we've got a lot of guys that play special teams and start for us there. But I think our breakdown is right at 38 for seniors. We got 26 juniors, and then we got 48 sophomores, and then another 43 for freshmen.
This senior bunch, you've been a school for 4 years. They've stuck with you, and they have come the long way, and they'll have stories to tell about. We go over this, dressing in the parking lot and practicing on somebody else's field and things like that, but look where they are today.
Yeah, and it's a group that's had a couple of playoff appearances, a couple of playoff wins. Thinking Nico has played every single high school football game in Green Hill history. So replacing that kid when you think farther on down the road, but more importantly, like, they are all good kids. They're all good sons. They all have great families. And I think we're preparing them for going on and being men in our society. But the senior group is going to be one that we're going to be, it was hard to replace last year's seniors, but this is the first one for 4 years that really built it and built what we are. And I think because of them, they've kind of put us in this opportunity to play great programs like Lebanon on TV. Now this will be the 3rd time in 2 years we've been on it.
Talk about the number 20. That's special in your program. You have a senior captain who earns the right to wear number 20, and this year it's Nico Duffy.
Yeah, so we have a skill and a big number 20. Our skill 20 is the one that wears the number because lineman can't wear 20 during the game as an eligible number, but Aiden, we put it on his head. It's on his helmet, so he'll have number 20 above it, and then his number right below it. Aiden Card is our big number 20, and Nico Duffy is our number 20 for our program. We opened in 2020, so it's something that goes back to when we first opened. It's a little bit of a nod of that, and then the way we do it is based off of attendance, grades, volunteer hours. Are they living up and being what we talk about, Green Hill men? We have a motto, it's called CLIMB. It's commitment, loyalty, integrity, mental toughness, and brotherhood. And if they represent that, that's the first nod to it. We had about six guys this year that we were able to narrow it down between because there were so many of them that fell into that category. But what 20 means for us is anytime you see him on the field or you see him on the sideline or you see who it is, that is supposed to be the person that is who we are. It's a living jersey. It's somebody that is meant to be who our program's about. And I think Nico and Aiden represent that to the utmost. And they have a picture in our locker room that will forever be up there, and we make a plaque for them. And so every year we put one up in the locker room for everybody to see in the past.
Talk about Lebanon. They're 3-1. The game they lost at the time, very disappointing to Lebanon. Turns out Upperman's probably the number 2 team in the state in their division. A quality loss, if you will. What concerns you when you look at Lebanon on tape?
Well, we had the privilege of scrimmaging Upperman in the last 2 years, and they put it to us. So I know what kind of program Coach Kane has, and really, like I was talking to Chuck earlier, and that game we're not similar in the fact of we don't have those personnel groupings, so we don't really have a lot of the 2 tight ends, 3 tight ends, and just pounding the football and leaning on you a little bit. We're a little bit more of a spread out, up tempo, fast paced offense. So watching that game, and they were down early, but battled all the way back, was within a score there late. What Chuck's done in the time that he's been here and the program in which he has now and flipped that thing around is pretty special. And I tell him every time I see him, he's done a great job. And that program is back to where it had been in the early 90s and early 2000s. And Chuck's done a great job of navigating that. But number 6 and number 5 are probably the 2 best players we've seen all year. 11 and 10 are really, really good high school football players that are physical, downhill guys. And, I think this is the best football team we've seen yet up to film. So it'll be a good test to see where we are as a program and if we can compete at that 6A level.
I saw this on one of your post-game interviews with the Green Hill Sports Network. Big school football in Wilson County is in good shape. There are some good teams here.
Yeah, and Trey's done a great job historically over a long period of time. Chuck is now the second longest tenured coach that came in, and we just mentioned a little bit about what he's done as a program. And then Ben going over to Wilson Central is really, and I'm partial to Brad and Trey and all them that were over there because that's where I started at. Love Wilson Central, and I think Brad did a great. I mean, every year, last 4 years, he's been in the playoffs. I think he's got the most playoff wins in school history, and so I'm always super appreciative of Brad, and will never say anything bad about a program. But Ben going over there has done a phenomenal job of getting that life back in it and starting something new and getting a little bit more presence on social media and showing a younger staff to kind of relate to those kids. And like I said, last week we're in a bar fight fighting those dudes, and they're big and well coached, and we escaped out of there with a good win. I felt like it was a really good football win for us to be able to go over there, to go and win that game. But Wilson County, I think, top to bottom, is in one of the best shapes that I think this is my 13th year in Wilson County, and it's the best that I can remember at the time. Just everyone being a lot of parity between a lot of the programs.
When you're playing the way you want to play offensively, what will folks see out of Green Hill?
Spread, up tempo. We want to throw it around a little bit. Want a lighter box to be able to run into. With those 3 sophomores, they're good football players, and they will be really good football players. But if we are running into a loaded box, we want to try to get Aaron Mattingly the ball, and Aiden Sadler, Braden Jones, Dallas Jackson, Nick Owens. We want to try to get those guys the ball in space and see if we can make one-on-one tackles. But on offense, we're going to try to go as fast as the refs will let us, as fast as the TV will let us, and hope that our condition will play a little bit of a role, and see if we can get people misaligned and try to. All it takes is one misalignment, and we can get some points off of.
Defensively, how do you want to play?
We're physical on defense. I think that we want to set the tone on the line of scrimmage. We want to stop the run first and foremost. We're try to make teams throw it on us in order to beat us. So we're going to be 8 or 9 man max fits in the run game. We're going to make sure that our safeties are tacklers. We take a lot of pride in our corners being good tacklers as well. A lot of people think that the corners, don't have to tackle, but In the box, we got four seniors at tackle, nose, both inside backers, 2 seniors at outside backers. So out of that, 6 out of the 7 we're senior loaded, and hopefully we're playing really physical, smash mouth football and disciplined.
Last year in basketball, I think Aaron Mattingly kind of came into his own after Christmas. Started playing a little bit better, demanding the basketball, doing some things. Did you know you had a football player when he got out there?
So we said the same thing in the offseason. Braden Staten went down about week 4 or 5 for us, and Aaron was in that role as the tight end after Braden, and didn't play with a lot of confidence the sophomore year, and rightfully so. He's stepping into a big physically too, big shoes to fill. He just didn't have that confidence. And going into the basketball early, he was still, hesitant with calling the ball. And I really think that Aaron figured it out somewhere after Christmas break. That 15-foot jump shot, the one that nobody really shoots much, he's money on that. And then seeing him just physically change his body in the last 6 months, I think he knows now. He's got the tools and the talent. God's blessed him with a lot of good things. He's got super phenomenal soft hands to catch the ball. He's got great speed, and I think right now he's becoming a leader for us, not only on the field but vocally and not in a negative way like a rah-rah guy, but when he speaks, everybody listens. And he's starting to figure it out. And I think it's a testament to Coach Allen. Really, Coach Allen sat him down one day after a game and said, "Look, you got to start playing more. You got to start playing better, and you got to help us out for a program." And that conversation from Coach Allen to him, I think he took a lot from it. And ever since then, I think he's been like a light switch. He's been phenomenal since then.
I want to say his touchdown to reception ratio is out of this world. What is it, like 12 or 13 catches and 6 touchdowns, something like that?
Yeah, I think I'm trying to think back on it right now. I know he had 2 the first week off 4 catches. He had 2 off 4 catches last week. So that's about 50%. And I think he had 6 catches for about 80 yards week 3. So he's roughly around 12 to 13 catches with 5 touchdowns, I think is where he's on right now.
That's out of this world.
That means we got to get the ball more, right? So good things happen when we get him the ball. So we got to do a better job coaching to get him the ball, I guess. That's what it's telling us.
Josh, thanks for the visit. We appreciate it. Thank you. We think it's going to be a great game. And when helmets cost $350, there's nothing wrong with having a full house. Right. You had a big crowd last week at your place. Homecoming, Wilson Central, all things rolled into one.
We had a phenomenal crowd. It was right at about 4,200 people. It was a awesome atmosphere. We had a lot of alumni back from year 1 to year 2. And student sections were packed on both sides. So we're hoping for something similar. Like I said, Wilson County football is, if you've never been out to a football game or you haven't seen Wilson County play in the last 2 weeks, I don't think there's a better matchup this week and what Chuck's got and our program. We're hopeful that we can go over there and give them a good football game and try our best to stay within it and see if we can compete.
Josh, thanks for the visit. We appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man.
Josh Crouch, head coach at Green Hill, with us on the Coaches Night Out show. That's going to do it from here at Town Square Social. Let me run through those games one more time. Week 5, Friday, September 15, the game we just got through talking about, Green Hill at Lebanon. It's a MyTV 30 game. Kickoff is at 7:07. Tribble Field, Watkins Stadium. Watertown goes to Cascade. Republic at Friendship at a 7:30 kickoff. Cookeville at Mount Juliet Christian Academy at Nashville Christian School, and Shelbyville Central at Wilson Central. For Justin, for Bobby K, for Ashley, who's running the floor up here tonight, I'm Tommy Bryan. I'll talk to you later.